Her life changed overnight. Auntie Mae tells all. The afternoon sun filtered through the lace curtains of Auntie Mae's living room, casting delicate shadows across the worn floral sofa where I sat, teacup balanced on my knee. At 83 years old, Mae Robinson was a fixture in our neighborhood, the kind of woman who knew everyone's business, but somehow made gossip sound like kindness. Her silver hair was always perfectly coiffed, her lipstick never smudged, and her eyes held a sparkle that suggested she knew secrets the rest of us could only imagine. "You want to know about the night that changed everything?" she said, settling into her rocking chair with a knowing smile. "Child, I've been waiting for someone to ask me that question for 47 years. I leaned forward, my phone forgotten in my purse. This was why I'd come, not just for the interview for the community newsletter, but because everyone in town whispered about Auntie Mae's mysterious past. How she'd appeared in our small Virginia town in 1978 with a suitcase full of money, bought the old Morrison house outright, and never spoke of where she'd come from. "It was 1977, she began, her voice taking on the cadence of a practiced storyteller. "I was 36 years old and working as a night janitor at the Belmont Hotel in Chicago. Not glamorous work, mind you, but it was honest. I'd been doing it for 12 years, ever since my husband Raymond passed. We never had children, and after he died, I didn't see much point in doing anything except surviving." She paused to sip her tea, and I noticed her hands, still elegant despite their age, with long fingers that spoke of a grace her cleaning work had never diminished. "The Belmont was one of those grand old hotels," she continued, "the kind with marble floors and crystal chandeliers, where politicians and movie stars stayed when they came through Chicago. I worked the midnight shift, pushing my cart through those elegant hallways while the guests slept, invisible as a ghost. That's what I was, really, a ghost in a beautiful house that would never be mine." On October 15th, 1977, I was cleaning the presidential suite on the 12th floor. It was past 2 in the morning, and the guest, a Mr. Thornton from New York, had checked out that afternoon. I was vacuuming under the bed when I found it. Mae's eyes grew distant, seeing something across the decades. A briefcase, black leather, combination lock, heavy as sin. I should have called the front desk right away. That's what we were trained to do, but something made me stop. Maybe it was the weight of it, or the way my heart started hammering in my chest. I don't know. I just looked around that empty suite, at the luxury I'd been cleaning for 12 years without ever really seeing. And I opened it. "How?" I asked, breathless. "The lock was busted," she said with a small smile. "One of the clasps was bent, and when I pressed it, the whole thing just popped open. And inside," she closed her eyes. Lord have mercy, inside was more money than I'd ever seen in my life. Stacks and stacks of $100 bills bound with paper bands. There must have been $200,000 in that case. My mouth fell open. In 1977, that was a fortune. I stood there for what felt like an hour but was probably just minutes, Mae said. My mind was racing. Who was Mr. Thornton? Why did he have so much cash? And most importantly, would he come back for it? I thought about Raymond, about how hard we'd worked our whole lives and how little we'd had to show for it. I thought about my aching knees and my tired hands and the 30 more years I'd probably spend pushing that cleaning cart through other people's beautiful rooms. And then I closed the briefcase, put it on my cart under a stack of towels, and finished my shift like nothing had happened. I realized I'd been holding my breath. What did you do? I went home to my tiny studio apartment, Mae said. I sat on my bed with that briefcase in my lap, and I opened it again just to make sure I hadn't imagined it. The money was real, all of it. I counted every bill, $243,000 to be exact. For 3 days, I didn't sleep. I kept expecting the police to knock on my door. I watched the news obsessively, waiting to hear about a robbery or a missing briefcase. But there was nothing, not a word. On the 4th day, I went to work as usual, and I asked Jenny at the front desk, casual as you please, if anyone had called about lost luggage from the presidential suite. She checked the log and said no, everything had been claimed. Mae's rocking chair creaked as she leaned back. That's when I knew. Whatever that money was, whoever Mr. Thornton really was, he wasn't coming back for it. Couldn't come back for it, more likely. That much cash, left behind with no fuss? That was dirty money. Drug money, maybe. Or mob money. The kind of money a man can